Hi, folks. Welcome to Cordisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Welcome back to Cordisco's podcast. Just two guys talking. Today we have our usual guest, Mike. We both live in upstate New York. Mike's a truck driver, and we're very involved in politics. And what we're going to talk about is what everybody's talking about, Afghanistan, which is kind of sad because there's 10 times worse going on the southern border, so call it a deflection. Mike, welcome back.
Hey, John, here we are again.
So, did you see the Trump rally last night when he showed the video?
I didn't.
Did you ever see the beginning of the movie Patton?
Yeah.
They showed the whole thing on a huge screen. The guy said shit and everything else. It was amazing. He goes, let the other dumb son of a bitch die for his country. Remember that line?
Yep, I remember that.
And of course, you didn't hear the line that's now famous that everybody's talking about. Trump went up to the mic. He's giving his speech for an hour and a half. Trump goes, that's the problem with these woke people. Everything they touch turns to, and he pauses and he goes, turns to shit. He goes right out loud.
Nice.
Oh my God. You couldn't, outside of where he was speaking, you couldn't, the people that were outside, you couldn't see the end of it.
That's good.
You couldn't see, and they were on a crane, the camera that was looking down on, you couldn't see the end of it. It was in Alabama. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in because we're talking about Trump. And,
well,
what do you think?
First off,
what was the groundwork he would have laid instead before it got bad?
Well, I really think that the reason why, first off, if you remember correctly, he said that he was going to have our troops out by May 1st, and it didn't happen. I think he would have worked on a much better exit strategy, meaning that he would have pulled American citizens out of Afghanistan, as well as the troops or the people, interpreters, and other people that actually worked for the United States over there before he pulled our forces out.
Right. But the thing was, though, I want to just make clear that May 1st deadline was a deal that he made.
Right, yes. That is a deal that he made, and it didn't happen for whatever reason, and probably because they couldn't figure out a decent exit strategy.
I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
All those higher educated people, all those years of military experience, all those years of working in the Pentagon, even if you weren't in the military, all of Biden's military and foreign relations experience all came to bear.
Yeah, and, if anybody could have done a worse job, he did it. I mean, he pulls them all out, doesn't tell anybody, just pulls everybody out, and now he's left all these American citizens in there. My question is, at what point are we going to have a hostage crisis? Because it's coming.
No, we already do.
Yeah.
We already do. In fact, I give you a chance to use some of my sound effects I love to use. What are we going to do now?
Exactly. I mean, we're going to have Americans that are going to get killed over there. We're going to have people that have actually worked with our forces over there, as well as fought right alongside us, or at least our forces, and they're going to get left for dead.
Well, here's the thing. Now, we have, of course, Vietnam was in the 70s, a long time ago. Most of the people listening to this are probably really, really small and weren't born yet. And we've got a history of trying a nation bill, which never works, putting in regimes that always suck. And then when we pull out, we desert the people that helped us, i.e. we did it in South Vietnam, we did it in San Salvador and Guatemala, and now we did it here. The next time we're involved militarily in the country, and the military and the CIA starts rallying up locals, they're going to go, what are you, effing stupid? Every time we help you, you screw it. You screw the people. Screw you. We're not helping you.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that the whole rest of the world we're not exactly we're off the Christmas card list now.
Well, no, we were
They're-
yeah. I mean, the country was great, but it was Trump and NATO and the Europeans had trouble with. Hey, you assholes, what do you think now?
Yeah, there you go.
And they're going to be flooded with refugees, and God knows how many of them are really refugees and they're really terrorists. And now you're going to have to spend billions more dollars on security. God knows how much of the welfare benefits, because you have a lot of way more than we do.
Yep.
How do you feel? How's it feel?
Yeah. Well, the whole world didn't like Trump, so, praise Biden. Here you go.
Hey, Boris Johnson, you asshole. You're the one that said that finally we got somebody that's reasonable and rational in the White House. Okay, asshole. How do you feel now? You had the head of your foreign relations stood on the floor of Parliament. I showed it in a video earlier that basically told Biden what an asshole he was for telling the Afghan army they were cowards, and this guy served with them. What do you think now, Prime Minister Johnson, you dick?
Yep, that's right.
It's amazing to me. Oh, how about Macron? You haven't heard 2 words from him, right?
No.
How about I don't know, who's the head of the German government? Who's the chancellor? I forget.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh
no, wait.
Well, that's another thing.
Well, wait. I did look up a response from the squad. And this was their press release. Oh, hang on a minute there. This was their press release from the squad. I had it here a second ago. What happened to it? I don't know. We'll just keep talking until I find it. Oh, here it is. And here is the official response to Afghanistan situation from the so-called squad. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It'll be all right. It's all right. There you go. There's the official response from the squad.
Well, what's interesting about the whole terrorist situation over in the Middle East, okay? If you remember correctly, right after Trump came into office, he dropped a Moab on them. And that was the end. You didn't hear anything from them at all until after Trump was out of office.
I mean, that was so powerful. I'm surprised it didn't cause an earth tremor, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, there's some geological faults that all got corrected that day around there, because that's a mountainous area, and there's a lot of faults and stuff. Boy, straighten them all out for a while. We won't get an earthquake for the next 50 years now.
Yeah, right? They were like, screw that shit. He used that. What else has he got?
Yeah, and people don't understand. They don't talk about much, even though the mainstream media, I have to use my PBS voice when I say that, the mainstream media hasn't talked about much that an American soldier has not died in Afghanistan in a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's an accident, right?
Yep. Of course. And the other thing is, too, I do believe that the Taliban are just saying, look, don't shoot any American soldiers and we'll be fine.
Oh, no. Trump basically said, okay, assholes, here's the deal. You screw around. You hurt one American. I mean, you even steal his bike, okay? We're going to kill the leaders, all of their families, because they're going to be with them in the house when the drone hits. And then we're going to kill a crap load of people that look like them, okay? So,
yeah, exactly.
No, because you have to understand, Trump, people think that Trump is stupid. But the thing is, though, that these progressives, Democrats, leftists all think, they believe all people think the same. And they, whatever they think, these people think. No, these people respond to power and authority, especially from men, period. Now, it might suck if you live there or you're a woman, but that's the reality. They respect strength.
Yep.
Period. There is no other way around it. That's all they respect. And it's interesting now. What did one guy say about how maybe the Taliban will be a little easier now that they're in control of the whole country, and they won't be as radical because they might be going through an existential crisis.
Oh my God! Who was the moron that said that?
Well, no. What he should have said instead was, listen, there's 30 odd million people. You can't be like you were before. You're going to have to loosen up a little bit, because you've got to govern now instead of just burning, pillage, and war. You actually have to sit down with bureaucrats at tables and govern, and that's harder than war, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But now, supposedly the story goes that there's Al-Qaeda, and who's the other group? Is that Taliban, Al-Qaeda? ISIS. Suppose there's pockets of ISIS guys and Al-Qaeda guys going around Kabul doing the dirty stuff, and it's not the Taliban. That's the new. Because you can't tell as they're driving around who's who, and nobody's got any uniforms. I mean, it's not like a regular war. So, you don't know who the bad guys are. So if a big Jeep of a bunch of guys with machine guns pull up and start shooting people and busting them up, they're going to say it's a Taliban. Well, it's really ISIS. It's really Al-Qaeda.
Well, they don't wear uniforms, so there's no way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the German back in World War II. The German high command go, well, it's not us, it's the SS. Oh, okay. Believe me, if they put the word out, we catch one ISIS person and one, what's the other one, Al-Qaeda person doing anything, we'll execute them on the spot. Well, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So they can do their dirty work for them and they can get away with it. So they think.
Right, exactly.
All I could think of, when they showed that picture of all the Taliban guys sitting at the presidential desk in the palace, did you see that?
Yeah.
All I could think of was the old Dutch Masters picture when they used to be all sitting around the table.
Oh, yeah.
Or like the dogs playing poker, one of those deals.
Yep.
And they're like, they're talking about a fish out of water. They were looking around but I noticed, though, this time something they got a lot better at. They're very sophisticated now with technology and communication. They had all the internet stuff put up, all the cameras, all the microphones, all their cell phones. They've learned a lot.
Right.
But I don't know. I really don't know. Now, let's talk about what originally we were going to talk about is what Trump would have done instead. I think, well, Milley back then was supposedly a general. Now he's a woke, instead of Milley worrying about how he's going to remove Americans from hostile territory and his own soldiers, he's before the Congress testifying the fact that he's trying to figure out, too, why there's white rage. You asshole.
White rage. Here we go.
Well, there's going to be some white rage now, and they're going to be mostly soldiers. There's a lot of...
Yeah, the ones...
A lot of pissed off vets, man.
Yep. Oh, and I wanted to tell you something that we talked about earlier. Yes, there are Vegas odds on Biden resigning right now.
Oh, him resigning? Yeah. The odds I was looking for, though, is who was going to be the VP choice.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, he's... there is a betting pool going on right now.
Now, I predicted about 3 months ago, and I was a little premature, but I'm still going to stick by it because I still think it might squeeze it by early January, second week in January of next year. And
yeah, I think so.
And they'll do it around January 20th, of course, as we all know, is the inauguration day. That's just what my gut tells me, because what they'll do is just, listen, I worked in local politics for a long time, so I kind of know how they think, but not on a national level, but I know how the mindset works. We have a guy that's walking dead. And I don't mean literally. Politically, Joe Biden is now dead. He's on death row.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's on death row. He's scheduled to be executed politically anytime soon. So, let's make him the target constantly for a while until this somehow figures out on its own or settles down. And then when we get most of it solved, if not all of it, it'll be messy. But when it's finally over, then he'll quit. And Kamala can come in and not have this issue anymore because she wasn't president then.
Right.
And that's what I'm thinking they're going to do. The longer he's there, the more bullets he can take. Those you out there in YouTube land and all your libtards, I don't want to be shot, taking bullets metaphorically from the press and the American people. Or Kamala Harris is going to come in and we're going to have a brand new clean slate and start over. Okay, whatever.
Question is what's the political makeup of the House and the Senate going to be after the fact?
Well, I don't think it matters. Now, it matters as far as the House goes because of the batshit crazy stuff they're trying to put through. And
yes, agreed.
And we have to make sure there's enough Republicans that win to have a big enough majority so you can have those rhinos that have no power at all. So that's going to be a test.
Well, it's going to be interesting, too, to see, because when we go into the midterms this year, we're going to be going on some new districts, too. So there may be, there's going to be offices that are going to be shutting down in some states and then going into other states. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah, but once they draw the lines, the Democrats will sue every single one of them. We'll tie it up in court for 6 months. They'll do it the last minute. I was reading somewhere there was 8 states, I think, and I'm trying to do this from memory. I believe Missouri was one of them. And they decided, to be fair, I do my deep voice, to be fair, that they were going to appoint a nonpartisan committee to redraw the district lines. And to come to find out, the Democrats were getting screwed more than the Republicans did it.
Nice.
So, I don't know. Gerrymandering is an overused term. I mean, gerrymandering originally was really bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Drawing lines to your advantage is not gerrymandering. It's making districts so weird and so odd that to give you an advantage, that's gerrymandering. But moving lines around and keeping the district cohesive, in other words, not all twisted, it's from a gerrymander. It's like a lizard. That's all slinky and move. That's what the districts look like. They're all weirdly shaped. That's gerrymandering.
Yeah, when they basically what they're doing is they draw lines and the district gets larger when you have, say, if there's a majority of your party in that section, and then when it's, say, if you get into, like, say, Binghamton's north side where it's very Democrat, you would cut that whole area completely out if you're a Republican.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, you're trying to push it as far to your advantage as possible when you're gerrymandering.
Yeah, but that might be a moot point because I think it was a week ago Friday, so it's been almost 10 days. Nancy Pelosi at her weekly press conference said she's confident that they can keep the majority. So, they might just pull it off because she's really, really smart.
Okay.
She's brilliant politically, but she's dumber to beg.
Politically, she is brilliant, but I don't know about that one. I mean, a lot of it's going to all depend on how the lines are drawn.
And in all fairness, though, she can't turn around and say, well, we really screwed up. We're going to lose the majority. It's just the way it is. She's not going to admit that. So, give her some slack.
She's never going to admit that they're wrong, ever. Nobody on that side, but nobody on that side.
What you're getting a lot now is that Trump would just as bad under Trump. It was funny. I said in one of my episodes about the Afghan withdrawal. I said, this is going to be a really crazy statement. I'm going to say it right now. If Maxine Waters was president of the United States, she couldn't do worse than Biden's doing now.
No, she couldn't.
And she's, as Tucker Carlson says, she has the distinction of having the lowest IQ in the Congress. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he calls her, low IQ Maxine.
Yeah. Of course, she was the one that was telling everybody to attack Republicans.
Yeah.
And, she's the first one to cry wolf as soon as somebody farts.
Oh, that reminds me. The FBI report came out about the January 6th insurgency.
The insurrection.
Did you see the results?
No.
There was absolutely zero coordination with outside groups. the Proud Boys and the I think it was the Oath Keepers, which are the kind of the radical right guys, played a very tiny part, less than 5%. There was no organized attack on the Capitol. They had no plan once they got in. It was just guys that are pissed off. And according to the FBI, there was no coordination for the attack from the Trump administration or any of his people. How come that didn't make the news? Because the thing in Afghanistan flared up.
Yeah, of course.
Now, when we get off of here, look up FBI investigation, and they laid it all out. It was just a bunch of guys that acted stupid. There was no coordination. There was no effort. There was no organization. Isn't that interesting?
What I'd like to know, since they're investigating things, I'd like to know about the riots out west, and then on the West Coast.
You mean the you mean the protests?
Yeah, the protests. Yeah, the so-called peaceful protests. The people that were breaking into stores and taking things and burning them down. That was all peaceful.
Yeah, like when the Nazis lined up Jews against the wall, machine gunned them to death, and they call it the hunting club.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Oh, there isn't going to be any.
Nope.
I remember
there's not.
I remember over 350 employees of the CDC and some top doctors in the CDC last year during the protests/riots, or mostly peaceful protests, I guess is the politically correct term, that actually said that all those tens of thousands of people being all crammed together with no masks in major cities was not a spreader of COVID. In fact, there are more black people being killed than are being killed by COVID, and so they were for the fact that these protests were on, and they didn't see it as a harm to the people at large spreading the pandemic from the CDC.
Gotta love it.
I'll tell you, I go back and forth whether Trump's going to run again, but one thing that, he made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes in his business life. But the one thing that I can tell, so far I can tell in his life, when it came to business, and he considers politics business, I have no doubt, because he treats it like that, is once he F's up, he never makes that mistake again.
Oh, if he comes back in, he's going to walk into the White House and fire everybody.
You're all fired. And the ones I can't fire, we're going to put you in a building somewhere, and you can sit around and play chess all day.
Yep, and he's going to bring in all of his own people.
Yep. I mean, Jesus.
Which is what he should have done to begin with. But
he sat with Ryan, the speaker, and Mitch McConnell, and they said, okay, we're one big happy family, even though we hate your guts, we're all going to work. And they, oddly enough, for having 3/4 of the Congress against him, he got a lot of stuff done the first 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
They were really pissed. They're like, wait a minute. Somebody made campaign promises and now he's doing it? What the hell's with this?
Yeah, this is bullshit. We can't do this.
Yeah,
you might set a precedence.
Yeah, you might set a precedent. He said he was going to do something, and then he actually did it. I'm like, this is bullshit. We can't let this go on.
That's right.
But anyway, I think he would have threatened the Taliban and get back on subject. And I think he would have put the proper generals in place. He would have over 4 years worth of presidential experience, know who to trust and who to not, at least for the most part. And he would have, in fact, I remember when he was wanted to pull out troops and there was some numbers giving in the timetable, the generals and the Joint Chiefs lied to him and admitted it about 2 months ago under a congressional hearing that they lied to the President of the United States and said things were done that weren't. Why aren't these people court-martialed?
That's a good question.
Anyway,
that's a very, very good question. They should be court-martialed, and that's it. You know what I see? If he gets reelected, I could see him having his people go in and doing interviews with everybody. Everybody.
Oh no, you don't interview everybody that's there is automatically gone. It's kind of like what they do when a president wins re-election. They go to their cabinet and he asks for everybody's resignation. That's common practice. That way you don't have to fire anybody you want to get rid of and make a big stink. all the cabinet members resign, and then you bring back the ones you want to keep.
Right, yeah.
Maybe do something like that, like all you guys here, and those are the 10 people that aren't here today that are sick, you're all fired. I want your letters of resignation.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Keep the cleaning staff?
Well, he is a germaphobe, so he probably will.
Right, he's not going to put his own people in for that, too.
Yeah, Trump's a germaphobe. Well, that's good, though. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I go back and forth. The only thing that I can see negative about Trump running again is it'll bring out the I hate Trump's guts at any cost people that were really fired up, that never voted or very rarely vote, but voted because they hate Trump so much. That's the only concern I have.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes or run a Vegas line to know who he's going to pick for his VP if he runs.
What we really need is someone that, that's got those brass, kahunas, okay?
There's only one. There's only one, really, unless things change in the next 3 years. And that's DeSantis.
Yep.
Now,
and we also need someone that is a very polished speaker, almost like Reagan.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Yeah, he had some acting chops in his old days, but Trump is who he is. He's come a long ways though in his speaking style. I have to give him that.
Right.
I mean, he's learning. It's a tough learning curve. I remember when I was first on Binghamton City Council here in upstate New York, the first 2 or 3 months I didn't speak that well. And then I slowly, over time, I got into it, and now I just, talk all the time, which pisses people off. But oh well. But you get better at it. You get better at what words you use. You get better at trying to keep on point. You get tone, cadence. There's a lot of things involved when you speak. And Trump's who he is. He's in his 70s. He's not going to change.
No, he's not. I don't know if DeSantis will come out of Florida yet or not. I think he would be he would be a good president.
Now, I read somewhere, one said it's not a problem. One constitutional guy said it was. We had the president and vice president from the same state. It's an issue somehow with the Electoral College because the VP and the president are voted on separately, which is true.
Okay.
And something about being in the same state, and there was a problem before, and one constitutional scholar says it's not an issue, and one person said it does, but Trump could change his residency very easily, so I don't see an issue. But
yeah.
But I don't know. That's my only fear, is these crazed progressives that hate, and they're not voting for the Democrat. They're voting against Trump, come out of the work if he runs again. We're going to have to see, but I don't know. I think he's waiting for the midterms.
Well, my question is, you have all these people that hate Trump, and they just hate him, okay?
All right.
They have got to be feeling the squeeze from the inflated prices of food, of gas, of everything. They've got to be feeling it.
Well, the thing is, though, say you're paying, you paid $10 for a steak in the grocery store, and you're getting all this free money from the government, and you go in the next week and it's $14, went up 40%. You really don't give a shit because you're getting free money. It's when they got to start working for the money they're going to care. Yeah. And that's running out.
Which really, people need to go back to work. I mean, they really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's 10 million jobs right now vacant. And lots are quitting. I think people saw that maybe they didn't like their jobs, and during the pandemic, they got a chance to walk away from it. All right, I can see that. If you're in a job you really hate, and you got a chance to do something else, I get that part. But doing nothing is not doing something else.
Well, like, for example, now, you were in the can and bottle redemption business for many, many years. I was at the person. Now, I used to bring all my bottles to you, but now I'm going somewhere else out in Vestal. And I was talking with a supervisor over there a couple of days ago, and he was telling me that, Like the Can Man, for example, they're in Johnson City. Sometimes they're not even open because they can't find help.
Well, they closed down the Can Man. For those of you that are listening in New York State, there's bottle returns, and then there's bottle redemption centers. You get paid to sort the bottles and cans and do all that. Now, the Can Man's one of the biggest in this county and upstate. Can Man closed the Front Street location right down.
Wow.
And that was their second big place. In fact, I had hinted around to the owner of the Can Man a couple of years ago that mine would have been a good spot. And it would have, because that's all they do is bottle redemption. They don't do a convenience store or anything. I was in there Saturday in my old store talking to the guys. It was weird being in a place, you used to own for 21 years, and you're not there anymore, and they remodeled. They did a nice job, and they still got a ways to go, but put in a brand new floor, put in new shelves. They got groceries in there, new counter. They got a steam table, food thing, brand new state-of-the-art cash register, state-of-the-art security cameras. It's pretty good.
Now, they're not open yet, are they?
Oh, yeah, they're open.
I have to go. I'm going to have to stop down there.
Yeah, that one sign that I left them, the light that says open, you can't see much because the light goes on it. But they have one of those big stand-up straight tent poles that say open. They had one out front.
Right.
So when I went to go in the park on Saturdays with a buddy of mine and played chess with the guys, and we swung back down this to check it out. And we shot the breeze on them for a while. They're nice guys. But anyway, though, so we're going to see what happens. I just hope that Trump just dials it back a little bit. Like there's an old thing about Napoleon that says you never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. I just hope Trump sometimes sees that saying or doing nothing and just let them talk and self-destruct is sometimes the way to go. And I think he's starting to learn that because you don't see him send out press releases as much as you used to, even though he's off of Twitter.
Right.
Which is the other thing. The Taliban and all those guys still have Twitter accounts, and the President of the United States doesn't. Isn't that a little effed up?
Yeah, that is screwed up.
And they're getting a lot of grief. And I'll tell you, when the Republicans take over the House and the Senate, there'll be a Republican president next time. These social media monsters are screwed.
I certainly hope so.
I hope they don't start giving tons of money to Republican candidates. And they go, oh, wait a minute, no, they're not so bad. We'll see. Because Trump's not going to fall for that at all.
No, he's not.
So we're going to have to see how it goes. But anyway, though, thanks for shooting the breeze again. It's just, it's always fun to talk, about stuff we care about.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I just wanted to say out there to everybody, thanks for listening. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.